everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Alize. I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to do a winter icy makeup look. So of course, I'm going to go fully in depth on what to do to accomplish your perfect long-lasting winter makeup look. So this is going to be very informative on what to do, so stay tuned. First thing you want to make sure you want to do is prep your skin before applying makeup. For example, make sure you cleanse your face. Cleansing is very important to keep your skin hydrated and clean before applying makeup. So once you finish cleansing your face, you also want to make sure you apply a toner to make sure you get any excess dead skin off of your face. So once after you tone your face, you also want to make sure that you're also moisturizing your face afterwards. Moisturizing your face is very important so your makeup does not come out patchy. So please make sure you do apply a moisturizer before applying makeup. Also, during the summer, and people also do this during the winter time, they will apply an SPF of 25 and 30 or 50, whatever you prefer. I personally like to use an SPF 25 during the winter time. So make sure you do that to protect your skin from UV rays. So once your skincare is all dried, which I already have my skincare dried from today, you want to go in straight to your makeup. So the first thing you want to do is apply a primer. I'm using the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer today. And for this primer, for me, it's very long lasting. It keeps my foundation in place all day, literally. This is my Holy Grail product. This is really good. A primer, for a lot of people, it's supposed to help your makeup last longer throughout the day. So you could use any primer that you wish to use. It could be a hydrating, it could be a mattifying primer, or it could even be this one. My skin type, for example, is acne prone, and it's a little bit on the oily and combination side. I can even do a full skincare prep if you're interested in watching a video like that. You can let me know in the comments down below if you want a very informative skincare tutorial. For this primer, for me, I take 2 pumps and I pass it all over my face, and then I, of course, tap it. Make sure your primer is fully dry before applying your foundation. So I'm gonna let my primer sit, for the time being. But just to kill time, I'm gonna be doing my brows. So since I already have pretty good natural brows and they're not, too thin or too thick, I like to fill in my brows with a little bit of this Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil. I use the shade 4, and once I finish applying this, I usually like to go in with a eyebrow gel for long-lasting eyebrows. Eyebrow pencil doesn't budge or smudge throughout the day. It will just stay put on your brows, the makeup. So for today, I'm just taking the NYX Control Freak Eyebrow Gel. This is clear. This is a very good product that I've been using for quite some time. So I'll show you what I do. I take the spoolie, the little spoolie at the end of the eyebrow pencil, and I kind of like brush up my eyebrow hairs. A little bit, and I just take the actual makeup product and I lightly go in and I fill in my sparse areas. If you have thinner eyebrows, you might want to actually completely fill them in. Just be very precise when you're doing so. Make sure they're not too dark looking. So for me, I'm just filling in any sparse areas very lightly. So I finished with my eyebrows. I'm just going to use the clear brow gel. And what you want to do is just like go over your brows and brush them upwards. If they get a little bit crazy, just brush the hairs down with the tip of the brush. So I finished doing my brows. The next thing I usually would do if I'm doing an eyeshadow look, which I am doing today, is actually do my eyeshadow first before applying my foundation. So it's also very beneficial to use a eyeshadow primer for your eyelid before, you know, applying the eyeshadow or a concealer, so that way your eyeshadow could be more pigmented and more long lasting. So I'm going to be using the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. This is in the shade like Minor Sin, so it has like a little bit of a shimmer to it. Just apply with a little applicator that looks like that, a little bit on my eyelid, not too much because a little bit goes a long way regardless. And you also want to blend this out either with your finger or you can use a brush. I'm just going to use a little brush because I have nails, so it's a little bit harder for me to do so. And when you're using like any little brush like this one, I'm going to be using this as an eyeshadow brush as well throughout the whole makeup tutorial to show you how easy it is to use like a single brush to do like a whole makeup look. I'm using the Real Techniques base shadow brush. For my eyeshadow palette that I'm going to be taking for today is the ColourPop Blue Velvet palette. Look how stunning these shades are, if you can see them. They are stunning. They are beautiful. This is the pressed powder palette from ColourPop. And for me, I'm going to be taking these top 3 shades up here, as you can see. Beautiful. I'm taking the lightest shade Forever Mood, I Feel Ya, and the Body. Whatever that means, I have no clue. But with the same eyeshadow brush that I showed you, I'm going to go in first with Forever Mood, the lightest shade in the palette. I'm going to take a little bit of product because this seems very pigmented, so make sure you tap off any excess powder that you might see on the brush because that's a very common and normal thing. So I'm just going to go in. Since I have hooded eyes, make sure you're aware of this. If you have hooded eyes like how I do, make sure you apply the lightest shade above the crease of your eyelid. And I'm going to show you how to do that as well. But if you have bigger eyes, and you could just go throughout your normal crease, it's not really much of a big deal for you. But you could just follow along according to like where your crease is, like which is like the little middle slit of your eye. So just keep that in mind. So as you can see, I'm trying to get as close as possible. I'm just going to be passing this all over my eye. The lightest shade. If it gets to the middle of your eyelid, that's completely fine. You don't have to worry about this, but make sure you just focus the shade on your actual crease. Of course, this is a very buildable palette, so you could build it up as much as you need. So I'm doing tapping motions with the brush, and I'm also doing like a sweeping motion to kind of like blend that color out. So I'm finished applying the lightest shade. It should look something like this. So once you finish with your first shade, I'm gonna go in next with the second, which is the Body. I don't know. It has a really pretty glitter shimmer to it. It is gorgeous. It's like absolutely stunning. Make sure you build up your eyeshadows to your liking. If you like it pigmented, keep applying until you get the pigment that you want. That's what I always do. So for this blue shade, I'm gonna go in my outer corner where I don't have any eyeshadow on both sides. And once I apply to my outer corner, I'm gonna go inwards to like my crease, which I'll show you what to do. So tapping that on my outer corner. and I'm gently sweeping that to my inner corner. If you need more eyeshadow, feel free to go in with more until you get the pigment that you want. I'm also going to be taking that to my eyelid as well. So I finished applying that shade. As you can see, it might look a little bit crazy, but make sure it's completely blended before going to the next step, which I already did so. So I usually would like to do this as well, this step. I'll go back into the first shade that I took beforehand. I'll take a little bit of that, tap off the excess powder, and then I'll go back in my crease above the dark blue shade, and I'll kind of like smoke that out with this shade a little bit. I'll smoke it out to get that like ombre effect. So the next step you want to do to give it a little bit of more of like that silvery white, you know, dazzle to your eyeshadow look, you can either take the palette and go in with this beautiful silver glittery shiny shade in the shade I Feel Ya, but I also have this ColourPop Super Shock Shadow Ultra Glitter in the shade Tassel, and this is beautiful. It's also like a silvery white. I'm not sure if you could really get a good glimpse of that, but it's very shiny. It's stunning. I feel like I'm going to use this one today, but you can always go in with the one in the palette because it does have a glitter and a shimmer of blue hues to it. This one is just like a silvery white. I think I'm going to go in with this one to give it a shot. I'm just going to go in with the eyeshadow brush that I used, and I'm just going to use that to apply the silver pigment on my eyelid. It should look something like this, as you can see. So just keep applying until you get the pigment that you want. So I finished my completed eyeshadow look. Very blue, very wintry, very icy. So we're gonna go on to the next step, which is our base to really complete the look. So go in with any foundation that works for you. I'm using the Kosas Revealer Skin Improving Foundation. This has a broad spectrum SPF 25. And I'm using the shade Very Cool, Very Light Cool 120. Very light with pink undertones, because I do have pinkish undertones. So this is like my perfect shade match. I like to take 2 pumps on the back of my hand. And for me personally, I like to go in with a damp beauty blender, but of course you could go in with a foundation brush if you want to get that full coverage, because this is like a medium coverage foundation, or you could get it like a full coverage foundation or light coverage, whatever you like. It's all personal preference, of course. A damp beauty blender is supposed to give you like a natural overall finish with your foundation. That's the way I would describe it, because I would take a foundation brush and I will apply that, and it's very full coverage for me. But I definitely love my beauty blender and the coverage that it gives me. It's very natural and skin-like. So I take the butt of the beauty blender and I just tap it all over my face. Just tapping everywhere. Try to avoid the under eye area because that's going to be for concealer. The next thing you want to do after your foundation is go in with a bronzer. I like to use a cream bronzer. I'm taking the Say Sun Melt Natural Cream Bronzer, and I like to use the shade Fair Bronze. Of course, to apply this bronzer, I like to go in with the Say all over like blending brush. It kind of reminds me of like one of those kabuki brushes that are dense. This is also very good and important for cream bronzer or anything similar. It does not have to be the same, but I definitely love this. It was a great investment. I use this for like all my cream bronzers. It's so good. You can even probably use it for a cream contour, but I personally don't contour. I like to use a nice warm bronzer. You kind of want to go and bronze your upper cheekbones, or like at your cheekbones. Follow your edges right here, and you want to just apply your cream bronzer, tapping it very gently on that area. And you can even do it a little higher on your cheekbones. Going in with my upper forehead, and I'm tapping that area to give my face warmth, of course. Tapping up in that upper area, going down to the temple of my face, working that down to the cheekbone. Kind of like a C, like following the direction of your face, because everybody has, you know, different shaped faces. So just follow your natural shape. So this is a very natural bronzer, so you're definitely gonna have to keep reapplying it. Don't go so far down to like where your jawline is, because then your bronzer, your warmth of your face is gonna look so droopy, and you don't wanna look like that. Of course, if you like contouring, contour is more cooler. Bronzer is more on the warmer side to give you warmth to your face. Use contour like I was mentioning. You want to go in with your contour first before going in with the bronzer. Bronzer will be very sharply with where your sideburns are, or like in the middle of your ear, kind of going like straight. That is your contour line right there straight across. But of course, if you're also going to be using bronzer with your contour, you want to apply your bronzer above your contour. I don't really own contour for demonstration purposes, but of course, if you want that more fully in depth, I will also film a video if you want. Done with my bronzer. I'm going to go in with blush next. In this pointed brush, go in with the Rhode. I really love this blush. It's so good, it's so buttery, so creamy, and it's so blendable. I'm using the Pocket Blush in the shade Sleepy Girl. This is absolutely stunning. Go very close above your bronzer, like kind of close to your under eye. And I'm just gonna like tap that. If it gets really close to your under eye, that's completely fine. You don't have to worry about it because that will be covered with concealer. You want to go in next is your concealer. Concealer is very important, especially if you have discoloration under your eyes. But if you have really bad discoloration under your eyes, I do recommend color correcting. You could always, you know, research on how to color correct, especially if you're light, medium, or deeper skin tones. I personally don't like to color correct under my eye because my hyperpigmentation is really not that bad. So I just go straight in with concealer. But if you really want a full in-depth video on how to color correct, let me know, because I will make that very informative for light, medium, or deep skin tones, whatever you are. So I'm going to go in with this Say Beauty. This is the Say Beauty Slip Tint Concealer in the shade 2 I mean. So what I like to do is go under my eye, but not so close to my under eye, and I just do 3 little dots like that on both sides. 3 little dots is all I really need, and that's all I really use concealer for. But people like to use concealer for like their above their forehead, right here in the middle part, their nose, their cupid's bow, and their chin to brighten up those areas. But I just feel like I don't really need to do all that. Blend this out. You can use a concealer brush, which is more fuller coverage, like I mentioned with the foundation, or you can use a baby beauty blender, something small and tiny like this. But of course, this is also damp. Never use a dry beauty blender because your foundation and concealer will come out very patchy, and you do not want that. So once you have your damp beauty blender, you want to gently tap that under your eye. Do not rub, just tap. This is a very gentle area where your concealer could go completely wrong and look very patchy if you go, you know, swooping across your under eye. It needs to be gentle tapping motions to get that even blend. Concealer is done, and so I'm ready to go to the next step, and I like to go in with the setting spray, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is a 16-hour wear setting spray. It's really good. It's really long lasting. So I'll just spray that all over my face. Woo! And you can use your hands to fan it off so it can dry down completely. You can use a hand fan or electrical fan. I like to use my little electrical fan. It works so much better than a hand fan. I'm telling you, you gotta invest in one of these if you're into makeup like how I am. This is really a game changer and just speeds up the process so much faster. So that's finished. I'm gonna go in with powder now to actually set everything in place. This is very crucial if you want your makeup to be long lasting, of course. I like to go in with this drugstore Maybelline Fit Me Matte Plus Poreless Powder. It's like a foundation powder that kind of like matches your foundation or like your skin tone. I use the shade 120 Classic Ivory. Very nice, and it really blurs and mattifies my oily areas. So I take like the actual cushion that it comes with. It's a little bit dirty right now, but you know this is very loved when it looks dirty like that. So I'll take a little bit and I'll apply it to my T-zone. This is a powder that I love to use on my T-zone where I really get oily, which is the center of my forehead. Right up here. My nose. The whole nose area gets so oily because we have our pores there. And our pores over time during the day usually will get oily. So you could even take this in your bag, in your purse, and like carry it with you during the day. And my chin and my smile lines, all right here in this area gets oily, which is the T-zone. Next, go in with a loose finishing powder. I like to take the drugstore Maybelline Fit Me loose finishing powder in the shade 05 Fair. It's like just like a very fine loose powder that you want to use to bake or set under your eye or wherever you want to set. And for this, take a little powder puff. This is very important, especially if you want to bake under your eye. So once I tap like the tip of my brush into my powder, take out any excess powder on the back of your hand. Kind of like just pat it a little bit, not all of it, but just some of it, so that way your under eyes won't look cakey. I never look cakey, or I never crease under my eyes when I do this method. I use this brush that's broken, but it's my favorite brush. I stay all over blending brush. This is what it looks like. Use something like that to kind of remove the excess powder off of your face. I like to tap in the powder and like kind of just sweep it off. So that way it can set under your eyes, set in your concealer without that creasing. Take a little bit more of that powder, and what you want to do next is you want to powder your jawline. Like you want to snatch your jawline in the bottom, because we did not set over here. So you want to set it with the powder, and also it'll just give you like that snatch bronze, you know, look like with your bronzer that we applied. Next, dust that off the same way like how you did with your under eye with the same brush. I finished with the powder. I definitely look natched. I like to take my setting spray again, and I like to set that powder in place. Just shower and setting spray pretty much. I'm gonna go in with my lashes and apply mascara, but first I'm gonna take my eyelash curler and curl my lashes. Go in next with your favorite mascara. I like to go in with this mascara. This is the Aaliyah Fullest Volumizing Mascara. So I'm just gonna mascara on my lashes, going down to the root, as you can see, upwards. I usually will go in with a highlighter, so I'm going to test out this glitter as a highlighter with my blush brush. This is very random and weird to do, but I'm actually going to risk it and see how it will look, because I definitely want to try this as a highlighter since it's really pretty. So let's see. Very lightly apply it to my cheekbones. Now that I have that glitter highlight on, I want to put a little bit of it in my inner corner for that little shine. And I'm just going to go in with my eyeshadow brush to put a little bit in my inner corner for that little shine. Now, last but not least, I'm going to be doing my lip combo. So I'm going to be taking a lip liner first for the lipstick that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be taking the NYX Professional Makeup, the Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Sandstorm. It's not my favorite, but it's a good cool tone brown. So I already overlined my lips, and I also put the Maybelline Fit Me Loose finishing powder on my lips. The reason why I do this is because the loose setting powder will make your lip liner last longer than like the average time, especially like when you eat or drink anything during the day. It will not budge. It will not budge at all. So I have that on top. I'm also going to do another lip line over top of the powder, so that way it gets last more longer. Now for the lipstick, I'm using the Too Faced Melted Matte Liquefied Matte Longwear Lipstick in the shade Cool Girl. This is definitely your perfect cool tone lip combo. Just going to apply that in the center of my lips. I finished my lipstick and I got my lip combo, and the makeup is completely finished. Yes, so much for watching this video, you guys. I love you so much. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.